Okay, welcome. Good afternoon, everyone. I hope you can hear me. A warm welcome to our third MiniMaster class in Series 3, Reality versus Expectation. How do you think, or how to think differently to thrive as a new graduate? We are delighted to have you with us for what promised to be an inspiring and practical session. Too often, graduates view the completion of formal studies as the end of their learning journey, when in fact it's just the beginning. Today, it will be highlighted how curiosity fuels adaptability, resilience, and innovation in the workplace, and why cultivating a learning mindset is one of the most vital soft skills for career success. We are especially excited to introduce our guest speaker, Nikita Reddy Ramsundar. Nikita is a passionate, educator, servant leader, and current PhD candidate at the University of KwaZulu-Natal. With a master's degree in commerce, specializing in supply chain management, she combines academic rigor and real-world experience. As a board director at SAPICS, she plays a key role in shaping the future of South African supply chain profession. Her career includes leadership roles in academia, notably as the school manager for supply chain management at Mancosa, and professional experience in apparel and textile sector. Nikita's research focus on innovation, program development, and community upliftment. Her doctoral work examines assessment practices in higher education, particularly in relation to graduate attributes within a supply chain management programs. Guided by the belief that learning is a lifelong journey, Nikita inspires others to embrace continuous growth, not just as a mindset, but as a pathway to building a better society. We are also pleased to welcome Clare Fincham, Marketing Manager for SAPICS, the supply chain community in South Africa. Clare is passionate advocate for supply chain education and has been instrumental in launching and sustaining the MiniMaster Class series in collaboration initiative with SAPICS and UNISA. This program helps students and graduates develop essential soft skills, bridging the gap between academic learning and workplace readiness. As you listen to Nikita and Clare, we encourage you to participate actively by posting your questions in the chat. These will be addressed during the question and answer sessions at the end. And a quick note for our UNISA students. Please remember to share your feedback on today's session via your module sites. Your insights are invaluable as we continue to refine and tailor the series to better meet your needs. With that, let's get started. Nikita, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Dr. Trollip, and thank you to UNISA for giving us this opportunity. Really excited. I am so passionate about this topic, as you can see. So, hope you enjoy it and engage more importantly. I'm just going to share my screen very quickly. I hope that you, sorry, I just want to share with sound. Okay. I hope that my screen is visible. If I could get a thumbs up.
Yes, it is.
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much for this opportunity again. And this is a very interesting topic. Why is graduation the start and not the finish line of learning? You know, we always stumble on this thought, thinking about our career trajectories, our paths, and where do we go from here? So I think during this particular class, as Dr. Trollip mentioned, engage, reflect, and think about where you are right now. So, yeah, I am excited, like I said. Um, and in today's session in particular, we're going to not just look at your career and the shape of where it needs to be, but from your life perspective and looking at your mindset and making this a journey together. So once again, I am Nikita Reddy Ramsundar. I am the school manager for supply chain management at Mancosa and SAPICS board director. I can be anything, a mentor, tour guide, and whatever you need me to be today. So I really do hope that you enjoyed the session with me. All right, so I'm going to start off with a little story. And I thought this topic would be more relevant or if we could relate to it, right? And I know that my whole bio has been explained very beautifully by Dr. Trollip, but I thought to let's bring it to the topic. So I'm going to take you through my journey. And during this time, you can think about your own and where you're at. And it's important for you to celebrate every accomplishment that you've made thus far. So I'll start off, right, at the age of 4. In the early beginnings, I'm not that old, but I, I started off as a dancer, a Bharatanatyam dancer, which is a classical Indian dancing. It's a form of art. It's very intense in nature. Um, and I graduated when I was 16 years old. I had already been through a lot of a very, I think, tedious, very rigorous training before I could do my stage performance to the public. So it was long hours of preparation in terms of the choreography to even dressing up, you know, being that little girl and then trying to learn about my culture in a way that was very traditional. But it had taught me discipline, patience, confidence, and a way to express myself. And I think that was one of the fundamental areas of my development. And these lessons would still echo through most of my transitions that I'm still facing. And then if we have to go through my first academic choices and how did I get to this particular point? So I myself finished matric. I also stood at a crossroad. I think many of us had this point in our life where we stand in a crossroad thinking about where do we go? What do we study? We've done subjects along different areas, right? But we can only choose one. And what is the deciding factor to choose that one? So I've had a passion for science and numbers, and then I've just decided to do the accounting. So I thought about doing accounting, and I registered for BCom accounting, and I pursued that. And whilst doing that, I hit a stumbling block, and that was I failed my economics module, right? Not once, not twice, 3 times. And in that 3 times, I, not as a punishment, but as a way of being curious to learn and understand what else is out there and is this really for me? So to make up those credits, I took on majors. So I ended up with a marketing major, a supply chain major, and a management major. So accounting route slowly slipped away from me, but I slowly found that passion for supply chain management. And once I found that passion, it then took me to my honors in supply chain and then my master's in supply chain. And that was my change and transition. Also had to go through all of that experience of feeling a module and not just once, right? And all of my friends were progressing into their accounting field, and here I was doing supply chain management as a third major. And at that point, supply chain management wasn't really a course or a module that was so popular, right? But I found it very interesting and I decided to pursue it. And it wasn't just a subject to me. It was a way of understanding how the world connects, how products move. And when I saw that, it really resonated to our day-to-day lives. And that love carried me through the honors and masters and research and whatever came afterwards, as well as joining SAPICS, a community that I am so passionate about, and I will share of how I landed there as well. But it wasn't just about the books and the theories, and I also ended up in industry after my qualifications. I went into the clothing and textile industry. I was an intern. I worked in a production line making garments. I then became a product specialist, working with buyers, looking at forecasts, every part of the supply chain end to end, even to sending out fabrics for testing and so on. But this was quite an experience for me that has taught me supply chain management. And then I moved on to this shift and this passion for education. So a turning point happened when there was a flooding incident in my community, which I was a volunteer of, and there were kids that were stranded with no books, no resources, and I had to do something to help them. And we would learn under a tree and, trying to ensure there's some reinforcement of learning taking place. And I just took it upon myself. And I sat there under that tree and I thought, you know what, maybe education is something that I should explore and get into, this curious mind as well. I then started shadowing academics, experienced academics on their lecture practices, and eventually got into the lecturing space well after attaining my postgraduate qualifications as a tutor and a lecturer, and then now a school manager. Because now I found another passion for program design, development, and looking at how the bigger picture works and aligning to graduate attributes and ensuring that our programs are fit for purpose. So that is another learning pathway that has taken me through passion. And then I want to talk about service and leadership and and how did I end up there. So outside of academia, I deepened my involvement with SAPICS. So I've met Clare, I've met Tanya Lam as well. So I've also met great individuals along the way, and they've presented workshops and the conference, SAPICS conference, which I've been attending for the last, I think, 4 or 5 years now. And I've been networking with them, and for some reason that passion just sparked, and I think it is also this mutual love for supply chain management that has got me to the position of now actually being a board member, which also is on a voluntary basis, in which I am passionate about working with my board directors, and we sit, I think Mbongeni is here as well. We strategize to ensure the community is taken care of, and all of this on a voluntary basis, because we have this passion and common love for supply chain management. So I think with curiosity comes passion. And when you are passionate about something, you are then driven and you find purpose to then, execute and ensure that yeah, you get to where you need to be. And more importantly is to bring others along. We, the, we have to pay it forward. We cannot do this alone. And we have to share as we move. So it's not about your self-learning, it's about how do you make an impact to somebody else. And my current chapter, well, this chapter has been quite a roller coaster. I'm now a new mom. I'm also in the process of submitting my PhD, which we just heard my topic. Yeah, so it's just about finding the next mountain to climb and taking on the next journey. So I'm very excited to know what's next on the plate. But at the same time, I'm very grateful for the people I've met in this journey and for the opportunities that I've taken to explore and get to where I am. So I hope that this little journey of mine sparks some curiosity in you and to reflect on where you are at this point in time. It was quite I actually got a bit emotional when I was doing this piece because I actually didn't realize, the impact people have had on my life, the different obstacles that I've had to get through to get to certain points. And it's not about just saying, okay, I would have stopped at that first BCom degree, It's not about saying, okay, the honors is that's the end, done, right? Each point led me to the next. And that is this whole curiosity that we're talking about. So I've got a little video that I want you all to watch just to spark a little bit more motivation. I hope this plays. Sorry about the ad.
If you want to be the best, you must outwork the rest. It goes without saying. The greatest work harder than the rest. They train harder. They learn more. They put themselves through more pain, more failures, more no's, more rejections. If your opponent does 10, you do 11. If they do 11, you do 12. If they do 12, you do 13, 14, 15. Sure, some of the greatest have talent, but none of that talent would ever be realized as greatness if they didn't put in the work. On the other side, think of all those with little talent that have created magic with effort. Effort will get you whatever you want in life. Fighting spirit, that's what I'm talking about. That heart that you know is inside you, you just gotta let it out. To keep going when life has you on the canvas. When everything seems to be conspiring to stop you, to hold you back. But you say no. You say not today. The strength to fight back. The heart to fight through challenges. And the determination to smash through unexpected obstacles. If you want more than most, you must work harder than most. Work smarter than most. Learn more than most. Get up one more time. More than most.
So this video gets me every single time. You know, we tend to forget the little things, and it's important that we look at our journey. I'm trying to stop sharing this and share my slide. Yeah, so I really do hope that you enjoyed it. It is on YouTube. There's so many videos on there to help spark a little bit of motivation when we sometimes don't feel like we have that. I'm not sure why my screen is not sharing. Okay, figured it out. All right, I'm back. Am I visible to everyone?
Yes, you are.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, so just to close off this section, if there's one lesson that I have learned through my story, it is that we have to be curious. Curiosity will open doors you didn't even know existed. To be adaptable, your first choice doesn't have to be your last. Value balance. So another thing I want to point out is balance is important. There are certifications. So SAPICS offers certifications, in terms of different areas within supply chain management. So you've got your degree, you've got your honors, which covers the different competencies required for that program, which is giving you the overview and the sense of what is supply chain management all about. What are the opportunities? What are the strategies? What are some of the tools? But whilst having that great formal qualification which you need, it is also important to keep updated, because how do you stay relevant in the space that is changing so often, right? We have to ensure that we're constantly equipping ourselves. So we'll talk about that just now. But value balance, it's not about just sticking to one thing. Ensure that we create value in what we are doing. Like, for example, dance has taught me balance of body, supply chain has taught me the balance of systems, and life taught me the balance of priorities. So find your own balance. Graduation isn't the end. Each stage, from dancing barefoot on a stage to walking on a textile production line to teaching under a tree to now writing the final pages of my PhD thesis, has taught me that learning never stops. And I hope you see that too. So to the graduates and whoever else, when one chapter ends, don't close this book. Turn the page, and the best stories are written when curiosity is your pen. So I think that is something that we need to really applaud ourselves for. If we look into lifelong learning and curiosity is the engine of lifelong learning. It's about asking yourself the questions. We may not have all the answers, but we have to ask the questions. Why is this done this way? Or what if I tried this differently? Too often, we are scared to ask questions because we are scared of what the answers might be or the situations that may unfold. But we have to be curious. If we look at supply chain management, right, it's changing drastically. And it's not just about the tools that we have right now. It's about also being curious. And this curiosity enables innovation. The people who move industries forward are the ones that are constantly exploring what's next. If we look at strategists, we don't look at what's happening now, we're looking at what's happening next. So we have to build this mindset of curiosity and lifelong learning. So I've got a little engagement exercise. So if you could scan the QR code and just give me in a nutshell, or even in a word, how do you currently pursue learning outside of formal education? So if you're studying for a degree, or if you've just completed studying for your degree or your honors or whatever you are at, how do you pursue learning, right? Besides that, it will be interesting to just see engage where we're at this point. So I'll wait for, let's see how many people we have on the call. So if we get even half, I will end it. Oh, LinkedIn articles, yes. YouTube videos, webinars and conferences, absolutely. Social media. Yeah, so those are great examples. And it's good to see that. Social media, absolutely. It's scary how we don't even need to pick up a book anymore. We can sit on LinkedIn and Facebook and Instagram and know exactly what's happening. Yes, YouTube, Google Scholar, yes. We're doing our in-depth research, reading the news, SAPICS, yes. So SAPICS, board certification courses. Yeah, so social media is popping up quite big here. And it's really true. There's so much going on. I don't think even the news can keep up with the amount of information that's out there in terms of learning. And that's how we spark curiosity, is through learning and looking at where do we pick up certain concepts, certain trends to help us, perhaps see if it's something we could explore or tell a friend about or explore together, So yes, definitely. Acquiring a skill, reading books. So even books are then made into movies. Yeah, so I'm quite happy with these responses. So if you can't log into the Slido, you can even use the chat box. We will review the chat box as well. Okay, so that's good. So I'm going to move on and we can come back if we have the time. But the next aspect would be to focus on to self-directed growth. We need to understand that no one is going to tell you to study. No one is going to tell you to switch the TV off. No one is going to tell you to apply for that job. It's only you that can make these decisions, right? So, and in the same token, no curriculum in the world or degree can prepare you for every single thing. We can give you don't get me wrong, you can get an understanding of a perspective, of a program, of the subject, and allowing yourself into that particular trajectory of becoming a specialist, yes. But to prepare you for what's next and every single thing that's out there, absolutely not. Self-directed growth means taking ownership of your learning outside of formal programs. So how else do you engage? How else do you learn? How else do you enrich yourselves and build that professional development or professional identity of yours? So this is the ownership that needs to take place. So you've given me some brilliant responses. So here I just put on some examples. So read industry reports, join communities like SAPICS, take free courses, that's like on LinkedIn and whatever platform is available. Ask mentors for guidance. You are your own chief learning officer. And I cannot emphasize that enough. Too often we rely on other people, other sources for our own self-directed growth. So when we know where to go, it will make our life much easier. So I think it's important for you to start thinking outside of where you are right now and think about how can you enrich this qualification or your next step by including yourselves in these communities or speaking to a friend, speaking to a mentor. There's so much of learning that can take place. Staying relevant in a fast changing world. So, we've got VUCA, BANI. There's so many acronyms now. Crisis, right? There's so many different terminologies and abbreviations to explain change, to explain our rapidly changing environment, to accommodate so many aspects to life, right? So staying relevant is important. And the only constant that we are aware of is change. Change, technology, customer expectations, sustainability pressures. So when we look at supply chain, the talk about AI and green logistics, all of these concepts are there, but it's the only concept or constant that we can see. How do we adapt is another story. So if we don't adapt, you fall behind. Staying open and proactive ensures you remain valuable, not just as an employee. And we need to move away from this reactive state and to a more proactive state. And that would help us in terms of dealing with this fast changing world. Learning mindset versus a technical upskill. So many graduates that I've had contact with or that I've had conversations with think that success means just stacking up your technical skills. It's another certificate, another tool. But it's important to do so with a learning mindset, so that we can continuously enrich the value that's beyond just the certificate. Learning mindset is the deeper ability to adapt, integrate, and reinvent yourself, no matter what new technology or challenges arise. So think about it. If you've got a mindset that is open to learning, a mindset that is flexible and that we can engage and change and adapt, think about how much of problems we can solve. Look at the challenges that can be halved, right? And it's quite important for us to adopt this mindset in order for us to create value and upskill versus just being technical and just doing things for a sake of doing it and just for a certificate. Risk of stopping at graduation. Oh, the risk is quite big. It's such a ripple effect. But the hard truth is that graduates fall behind with just a few years because they stop learning right after their first degree. Because you want to get that degree, so you get a job and then you are making your money and then you're done. And then think about the difficulty of then trying to get back into that space, right? It's not impossible, it's possible. But I mean, think about the gap that you have to then look at to get there. So employers notice, the market notices. But if you cultivate lifelong learning, you are always, or you will always be ahead because you are continuously evolving. So it's not just about, I'm not here to tell you that you need to do an undergrad, a postgrad, and so on. It's about finding tools, finding opportunities of learning in your career or in your journey. No matter what you choose to do, there's always an opportunity for learning. And that opportunity you need to take with both hands. And that creates this mindset shift in becoming a professional that is well versed and that is going to be updated and continuously, what can I say, relevant in today's changing world. Reality versus expectation. So when we look at this series, I was very excited. I thought that, wow, it's something so simple, but it's very hard to practice, or it's very difficult to try and maintain, right? So the expectation is that a degree or first job sets you up for life. That's what everyone assumes, or that's what the thought we had previously. But we also know that one job is simply not enough, right? With the changes and the economy and trying to survive in our world, right? The reality is that it only sets the foundation. It's only giving you one part of that pie. The real work and opportunity is staying engaged, curious, and proactive in your growth and journey. You have to stay engaged. You have to be curious, because when you are curious, you are then looking for an opportunity to learn. You are then putting yourself in a position for this mindset shift and to be proactive. So, a few key takeaways for us to just look at. Curiosity fuels lifelong learning, right? You've seen that. I think I've emphasized it on every slide. Growth is self-directed. It's not delegated. No one's going to tell you grow. No one's going to tell you to do certain things to get to a particular point. There may be guidance along the way, but should you take that guidance is on you. So growth is self-directed. Stay relevant by staying adaptable. We don't have the luxury to just sit back and just continue with what's life offering. Like, it's about just doing the day-to-day tasks. But it's about us putting in that effort, like we saw in the video, to stay above the rest. And to stay relevant is by staying adaptable. Learning is not a phase. We need to move away from the notion that we only learn when we are doing a qualification or a course. It is a lifestyle. Our kids teach us something every single day. Our colleagues teach us things every day. The people we network with teach us things every day. Today, you guys have taught me things when we did the Slido, and I'm sure I'm going to learn more from you in our engagements. So we need to understand that we have to be open to receiving this learning. And we have to work with our communities and platforms that you belong to, so that, and not just be a part of it, but to be actively engaged in it. And that's important. So in closing, just to wrap up, lifelong learning isn't another task on your to-do list. I know this to-do list can get really long, and it's filled with just tasks on it. So I'm saying, do not put that on your to-do list. Make it your choice of lifestyle. It's a way of looking at the world, and it's a way of how you view the world. And if you cultivate this mindset now, it will serve you through every twist and turn in your career. So thank you. And I really, really look forward to our engagement now. I think I'm going to hand over to Clare. But before I do that, I just want to say that this masterclass has been, when I looked at this topic, I really, really felt passionate. And I feel like it's something that is important for us to understand, and that's quite overlooked. And this reminder is truly refreshing. So thank you, Dr. Alicia, Dr. Trollip, Unisa, and I think it's Dr. Dlamini, for all the organizers. This was really, really well planned, and really looking forward to the engagement. So thank you so much.
Thanks so much, Nikita. That was very inspiring. I love listening to you speak, and always good to hear from the students as well and the young professionals on the call about how they like to learn. I'm going to take just a few minutes to chat to you about SAPICS and how we can support you also on your journey post-graduation, and then there'll be enough time for Winnie to manage the questions. So I won't take too long, and hopefully the UNISA team will share the slides so that you can have access to them, but they will be loaded on the SAPICS website. So I'd like to echo what Nikita has said about continuing your learning post-graduation, and would like to stress that SAPICS is here to support you in that journey all along the way, in whichever way that you want to focus on your which areas of supply chain management you would like to focus on. So as you have already learned, there is a lot going on in supply chain management. It really does keep the world going round, and I'm very passionate about it, having been involved in logistics and shipping and supply chain management for a good part of my career. I'd like you to think of SAPICS as supporting you in your learning journey, physically, educationally, and as you go through the rest of your career. So just quickly, SAPICS' mission is to elevate, educate, and empower the community of supply chain professionals across Africa. And we do that through our membership benefits, the events we organize, our annual conference, and our supporting education program. I'd like to stress that we have an education committee, and Stamele, to answer your question, we do have people, very, very smart people like Nikita and many others, who can guide you when you are wanting to work through your supply chain journey. So for example, say you find your first job in warehousing, we can support you with qualifications around that and certifications that will take you to the next level. Then say there's an opportunity to move within the organization into a more production kind of focused, we also have courses and certifications that can support that. And you can keep on learning until your retirement. And in fact, even after that, you can go to universities and fun things like that. So to echo Nikita, learning is a lifelong journey, and so exciting to be learning new things every day. I'd also like to applaud all of you who are on this call for taking the time out of your busy, as you approach the exam time, to be on this call and to just broaden your mind and your knowledge, and then to encourage you to join SAPICS as a member, because that really will give you an edge. It lets you stand out from other colleagues who are also looking for work and progressing in the workplace. Having SAPICS on your CV as a member is definitely a bonus to you. So not only to show the potential employees that you are doing something just a little bit extra, as per Nikita's video, that you are committed to working in the community, to learning from the community, and as you progress through your career, maybe even giving back to your community. So as Nikita has done, and our other board members, they have learned from being in the SAPIC space, and then have put their hands up to be on various committees as volunteers, as mentors, and as board members. And then also speaking at our events, speaking at our annual conference, and really growing your own professional and personal development. So for 184 Rand for 12 months of membership, it's a once-off fee, and your membership then is active for 12 months after paying the 184 Rand. That's including that. And if you would like to pay it off over 3 months, we have a facility for you to be able to do that. So it just really gives you access to our members only events, site visits, breakfast and webinars, a massive discount to attend our annual conference, which will take place in July next year. SAPICS is 60 next year, and we will be having our young professional and conference in February 2026 to kickstart our 60th year of celebrations. If you remember, we allow you to add your CV to the website, and you will also see that there are job opportunities on the SAPICS website. We have great relationships with leading recruitment companies. They also have their own webinars on CV writing, etc., so you would have access to that. We also work closely with our corporate members, and if there are any opportunities for graduate programs, learnerships, volunteer positions in peak season, we will share that with our members. We have a phenomenal membership platform called GlueUp, and there is a lot of information that is sent to you via that. You have access to resources, you have access to the community of practice, you have access to SAPICS mentors. I have 2 mentors, even at this advanced age. Mentoring is very important for personal growth, and you have access to all of that as a member of SAPICS. And that can also assist you with your studies and give you an extra edge in your projects, and perhaps you can memorize some of the learnings that you will have read about on SAPICS presentations, and that will help you in your exams. You also receive a Focus on Transport magazine every month for free. So if logistics and transport is where you would like to go, that is also very useful. This is the QR code to join up. It takes you to the Young Professional page, and you can see the link there to join. But don't worry about that too much now, because as I mentioned, this will be shared with you. SAPICS will have hosted or been involved with other partner events, 51 events in 2025. So that's almost one every 6 days. Upcoming is an event in Botswana. We're really trying to expand our reach into Africa. We have a site visit signed up with Digestics, but not the date yet. We have a women's event in Durban. So if you're based in Durban and you're a member, you will be welcome to that. We're also having a webinar on supply chain and economics leading up to the G20. And that's for members only. And we also have our golf day. So if that's a game you like to play, please keep an eye out in the future, and you can join the golf day. Great way to meet people in a fun environment. We prepared a conference e-zine based on our 47th annual conference, and that can be read there. And saving the dates for 2026, 19th to 22nd of July at Century City will be the 48th annual conference celebrating our 60 years. We host young professional conferences, and you can read and see the resources on this page. And just a testimonial from this event in August, that somebody said the biggest takeaway was that joining SAPICS were great benefits that she could see, and we're very pleased that somebody could see that there was some value in joining SAPICS. We also had recently at a site visit in Goskor, a new member from the University of Pretoria came. She had her CV in her hand. She met the supply chain director and operations person in the warehouse, and she said, "I'm available for work in 2027. Please, will you give me a call and I'll do volunteer work?" And they were very impressed with that initiative, and that was because she had joined SAPICS. So when you do, you will receive a proud SAPICS member banner, and please, I encourage you to follow us on LinkedIn. There's also lots of learnings there, and on Facebook. I would like to just take this last minute to thank the UNISA team. They have been fantastic to work with during the year, and really answering the call that came out of the SAPICS conference in 2024, where industry was asking SAPICS and other education institutions to bridge the gap between academia and the workplace, and we certainly have done that through these amazing mini masterclasses. So thank you to the phenomenal UNISA team. It's been wonderful to partner with you, and I look forward to welcoming many of you as members and to help you through your supply chain learning and professional and personal development journey. Over to you, Winnie, to manage the questions, and I wish you, those of you who are studying and doing exams, all the very, very best. You've chosen an amazing career. Awesome. Thank you.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much to both our speakers. You've been very phenomenal. I'm looking at the time and it doesn't allow us to answer as many questions as possible. If we do not get to answer all the questions, I'll ask the presenters to maybe answer the questions in the chat box. I think I still have 2 minutes. Stiamele asked, as a young professional entering the supply chain field, how can I identify which skills and knowledge areas I should stay curious about to remain relevant and competitive after the graduation? I think, Nikita, you can quickly handle that one.
Okay, my headsets. Okay, that is a very good question. So it's also something that I'm looking at in my study, looking at graduate attributes. But so far, if we look at industry right now, especially in supply chain management, it's important to look at how you can marry your content knowledge that you've got from your qualification and the soft skills to allow you to fit in that place of work. And remember, supply chain field is very fast paced, depending on where you are, if you're in operations or if you're in purchasing or logistics, demand is quite high. So as demand is high, products need to be out there, customers need it now. So it's important that we emphasize our soft skills in terms of organization, being visual, being analytical, problem solving, and communication. Communication is something that's quite overlooked. So I think if we could look at how you can marry your soft skills and the hard skills, that would give you a good starting point in this particular space. And it's something that's quite evident in terms of the outcomes. So when we look at a program, look at your exit level outcomes, your learning outcomes of that module and that program. You know, if it's asking you to be analytical, if it's asking you to problem solve, think about it from your soft skill perspective and how you could develop yourself as an individual in this space. If that answers your question, if you need more clarity.
Thank you very much. I think you answered the question fully. Unfortunately, ladies and gentlemen, we do not have much time. As I've indicated, our speakers, Nikita and Claire, will answer the questions in the box, in the chat box. So now I'll hand over to our Dr. Trollip to have closing remarks. Thank you very much. Over to you, Dr. Trollip.
Thank you so much. Shoo, when we have fun, time is flying. Yo, I can't believe it that we've come to the end of today's mini masterclass, and with it, the final session for 2025. A heartfelt thank you to our incredible speaker for her time and for sharing valuable insights, and also to Clare for her time, and of course to you for joining us. We hope that you are inspired as we are, that this session sparks your curiosity in you. I'm so inspired that I think I want to do a next PhD. Anyway, if you like to revisit today's session or catch up on any of the previous mini master classes, the full collection is available in our YouTube channel. There will be a link in the chat and also the QR codes. As we look ahead, we love for you to stay connected Be sure to sign up for our mailing list, and that link will also be in the chat, and the QR code is there for you. And then we come to the end. So, thank you once again for being part of this journey. But before we leave, I just want you to give a round of applause to Nikita. Thank you. I think we all are inspired. And thank you, Clare, that our students and we know that you are all there for us. So can we end up this session with a round of applause for all of this? And with that, I will say, until the next time, take care and have a wonderful day. Goodbye.
I would say goodbye.
Bye.